This is Socially Triggered, and this video is going to be on jogging while black. It's going to be talking about Ahmaud Arbery and his story. And I'm going to show you a video of the incident, and I'm going to talk to you about what really happened in the incident and the narrative that is often being pushed within the mainstream media. So this video, I'm hoping to kind of debunk some of the common narrative, but also I want to kind of show you what really happened. So I'm going to play the video that is kind of circulating about the case of Ahmaud Arbery, and then I'll discuss it afterwards. So I'll just play you a little clip, and I'll just switch to do that. And I'll just play that for you.
This mobile phone footage captures the last moments of Ahmaud Arbery's life as he was jogging through a Georgia neighborhood in February. As he approaches a truck, the 25-year-old is confronted by two armed men who reportedly believed he was a burglar. As Ahmaud appears to try and avoid them, a shot rings out. Then a struggle ensues between the unarmed man and a white male with a shotgun. More shots ring out as Ahmaud is shot point blank before stumbling to the ground.
Okay, so let me just switch back here. So I'll leave the video here. I'll move it over here for you. Okay, so that is so if you even look at the title of the video that I just showed, it's US. Video shows black man Ahmaud Arbery gunned down while jogging. So that's the narrative that they're trying to push, that he was just casually jogging and these evil white men, with their, southern rednecky pickup truck, went around trying to hunt down black men to shoot. And that's the narrative that you hear in the news. However, let's go through the actual facts of the case. So what was happening was the neighborhood that we're talking about is a primarily white neighborhood, and they were having a bit of a problem where there was a series of break-ins and on-site theft. So what was happening was people were experiencing some hardship where people were like a little bit on edge, and especially around this one construction site. Objects were missing from the construction site. So they even put in a surveillance camera to basically protect things from being stolen from this one construction site. Now the construction site, just so you know, was one of those ones where they had started a project and just sort of stopped. And it was just sort of open construction site that was sort of left for a long time. They blocked it off so that people shouldn't go there. It's still private property. And the people that own that private property were experiencing the thefts. So they had contacted the police about it, and the police actually contacted Gregory McMichael. Now, Gregory McMichael is one of the two men that's involved in the shooting. So, so that's the connection. He's actually was asked by the police to basically act as a neighborhood watch to protect this property and to look out for suspicious people. Now, they actually, from the cameras that are on the construction site, they actually found footage where it shows Ahmaud Arbery had visited that construction site over a period of maybe since October to February. So the incident actually happened in February, and he basically was visiting over a period of a few months, constantly going to that construction site. And there's no evidence that he might have stolen anything, but it's kind of questionable. Things were missing, and he was there. There's probably some evidence that he, all the evidence hasn't come out yet, but it looks kind of damning that he might have been, stealing various items that were left at the construction site. Now, another thing to know about Ahmaud Arbery is he was not from that neighborhood. It's not like he was a citizen of that area. he was actually from about 8 miles away. So he was visiting this other neighborhood, visiting this construction site over a period of months for no particular reason. So a little odd, first of all, it is trespassing. He is actually committing a crime by being on that construction site. So already he is a criminal in terms of his actions. He's doing something that's illegal. So that has to be understood. The other thing is they were uh, trying to protect the property of this individual that owned the construction site. So what happened was on the day of the incident, uh, he was in the construction site. People spotted him, and he fled. And Gregory McMichael and his son Travis McMichael, they were basically following uh, in their truck this potential suspect, and they were just sort of following him with their truck. They tried to stop him, and they said, "Hey, we're trying to commit a citizen's arrest, which is legal in the state of Georgia." And they had guns, and they had open carry permits, and they had all the legal parameters. And the police were actually on the phone with them. They were talking to the police, saying what they were doing. So everything was kind of by the book. And what you see in the video is Arbery basically comes up behind the truck, and he goes around the truck on the opposite side of Travis McMichael. And so he goes around the truck and then basically dashes towards Travis and tries to steal his gun. He tries to take the gun away from Travis. And at that point, there's shots fired. I'm not sure if it was the father that fired the shots or if this gun accidentally went off, but shots were fired. And as a result, uh, Ahmaud Arbery was killed. But the whole time, the police were saying, "Hey, look, do this, follow these rules." They were talking to the police about what was happening, and it looks more like that this was a incident of self-defense. And the people that actually brought this tape, this video that is caused all this controversy, were actually the McMichaels. The McMichaels used this video as evidence that he was being attacked. Uh, Arbery basically came at Travis, trying to grab the gun, and he swung at him a whole bunch of times. So it was life threatening. When somebody does that, that is putting your life at risk, and he had every right to defend himself. Now, the narrative that we hear is that Aubrey was basically jogging, and he was just some innocent black guy that's just jogging along, and these evil white supremacists were driving their Confederate flag waving pickup truck and basically gunned him down. None of that actually happened. The truth is that Aubrey wasn't just jogging. He was basically fleeing from the scene. And if you call that jogging, that's not really what was happening. Uh, he shouldn't have been in that neighborhood. And he was suspicious in terms of his actions. He was doing illegal things by being on the construction site. And in the situation, he actually attacked Travis McMichael and put his life at risk. So this is the truth of the situation. But the thing is, the media, they like the narrative. And the narrative is always evil white men, poor black men. Now, they never like to give accountability to black people. They always try to find some way that, oh, it's not the black person that did the crime, even though they did the crime. It's society or something, some influence, made them do what they did. And it's those evil white people that keep on oppressing these poor black people. And that's the narrative that keeps on being pushed. Whereas the truth is probably, that we're not as racist as they try to make us out to be. If you look at even like where they do like charts of like what are the most racist countries, and North America and Europe actually score the least in terms of acceptance of other cultures and races. They're actually the most accepting, I should say. They're actually the least racist, I should say. That was what I was trying to get at. So the point is, like other countries, like actually African countries and the black communities within North America, are actually way more racist. And I don't think that they're racist because actually, this is where I'm not going to give them blame. I think it's because of all this narrative that they've been pushed, that they've been taught, oh, the evil white person is trying to oppress them, and that the evil white person is trying to like bring them down or hunt them down. And it's really not true. For the most part, white people don't really care. And that sounds harsh, but it's really true. It's like white people don't care, and they don't care so much that they don't go out of their way to gun down black people or do harm to black people, because they just don't care. They want to just live their own lives. Most people are so busy living their own lives that they have no concern over worrying about other people's lives, about worrying about black people or Asian people or any other people. They just worry about their own people, their own lives, their own immediate family, not even their own people. They just worry about themselves and their immediate family. So, so the thing is, like, the whole concept of white supremacy and all this kind of evil white people going around hunting and killing black people is it's just not true. It's not based on reality. Another thing you'll notice, especially in these narrative things, and I kind of want to bring this out, was the pictures that they use. And I should almost Google them just so you can see. Now, when you see the pictures of Ahmaud Arbery, the pictures that they always use are his high school photos, where he looks like he's scholarly and he's like really, really well educated guy, and he's just such a good model, role model student kind of person. That isn't Ahmaud Arbery. That's the narrative. That's not the real person. So he's not. He doesn't look like his pictures that they show. He was kind of running a little bit down on his luck looking in real life. The other thing is when they show the pictures of the McMichaels, the two white men, they show these mug shots where they look like what you would envision as a redneck white supremacist. So they fit that image, and that again is not a fair representation of the people. Now, if you look at real pictures of them, they actually just look like regular people. They don't look like the stereotypical white supremacists. Um, so the thing is, they when they they craft this narrative in the media. They like to pick images of like the innocent black person and the evil white person. So they create this nice little narrative, and they create a huge amount of tension between the two groups. So all white people are evil, all black people are innocent victims, and that's the narrative. Uh, and it's a bad narrative for both sides, because it only creates distrust between the two groups, when really, if we're trying to make this whole multiculturalism thing work, we should have the two groups getting along, and we should be honest about what's really happening. The crime stats are pretty bad for the black community. They commit crime at a way disproportional rate. I think it's like 50 to 1. If you're a black person, you're 50 times more likely to kill a white person than a white person is likely to kill you. so, so it's really disproportional. And the narrative that's often created is the exact opposite. So uh, this is the way that they try to create these narratives. Like the reason I call this video "Jogging While Black" is it's sort of homage, I guess, homage to the idea of driving while black. Now, driving while black is one of these other fake narratives that if you're driving a car while black, well, you're going to get pulled over more often. And what they actually did when when you look at that narrative, they actually looked at the stats, and they actually looked at black people and their driving habits, and they noticed that on average they drive faster, so they're more likely to get pulled over for that reason. And if you, this sort of a common sense element here, that if you look at cars, you can't, for the most part, tell if the driver is white or black, because it's hard to see inside the cars. Like, especially when somebody's driving past. Like usually it's a stopped police car, and the car just drives fast past it, and they get pulled over because they're breaking the speed limit. So they can't even tell if it's going to be a black person or a white person driving that car. But the concept is that, oh, black people are uh, being pulled over more because they're black, rather than the truth, which is they're being pulled over more because they have a propensity to actually speed more. They drive faster. And if you speed more, well, you get pulled over more. So often these narratives are created to, to say, oh, these poor victims, the black victims, and these evil white supremacists that are basically penalizing them for just being black. And that's a narrative we really got to fight against, because it's not true. It's not based on reality. And we got to understand that, if we keep on demonizing white people, it's not going to go well. You're almost going to create the very evil that you're saying that exists. Like I think of those mass murderers that in New Zealand, and the one in Norway. They're being pushed into that because they're being taught, oh, hey, you're evil white person, evil white person. And they're like, well, no, I'm not. Like, and then they become the monster that the media says that they are. So I really don't like this whole narrative that they're trying to push. I want to defend my own people because I'm white. I don't want to be seen as racist just by the sheer color of my skin. I'm sure that black people don't want to be seen negatively just because of the color of their skin. I think it's best to judge people as individuals, be aware of the stats that affect the group, but at the same time, treat people as individuals, give them their own agency and their own judgment, where you decide whether or not this is a good person or a bad person. And so very Martin Luther King on that one, because judge people by the content of the character rather than the color of the skin. So yeah, that's by my story of and my explanation of what actually happened with the Ahmaud Arbery case. I'm shocked that they haven't actually just apologized to the two men involved. That that they really it was a matter of self-defense, and I think that what's happening now is you have all these people that are virtue signaling and doing these jogging things, and and you're getting all these black protesters that are rallying around the cause, and it's all for nothing. It's for a fake narrative. And it makes me sad to see this. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Please check out my other videos, and I'll be posting another video tomorrow. So I hope you enjoyed that one as well. So please like, comment, and subscribe. Thank you.